everybody. Welcome back to Chase the Unknown. This week we have Susan Willis with us, who is the casting director, founder of Mama Bear Casting, based out of Augusta. Welcome, Susan. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you so much. So good to be here and see your pretty face again.
I know. I haven't seen you in forever.
It's been a minute.
I know. It was like, I don't even remember the last time
2016, I think.
Something like that. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute. So we wanted to kind of just talk to you about, how did you get started into this whole entertainment industry?
Well, it all happened when I was a little girl. Like everyone else, I was in drama in high school, loved it. Fast forward, served my country in the military, blah, 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 all that stuff. Had my kids, we're all good. And through a friend, found, of course, AMTC, Actors, Models, Talent for Christ, back in spring of 2013. Was able to go through that program, meet you, and quite a few other people that I'm still connected with. Went through the program. After that, was able to get an agent, thanks to all my learning and all that stuff back in 2014. I started doing background work, which I love, which is fun. I'm a huge advocate for background work, and studied the background thing and started thinking, well, if we get anything in Augusta, nobody does background casting for Augusta. So I kind of started just juggling acting and learning as an actor, but also establishing a protocol for casting. A couple of small projects were coming in Augusta, and I just felt my calling was to help put the people in the play, background or talent. And so I threw myself out there with local filmmakers. I said, hey, if you need some help casting, I'm getting to know actors and I'm starting to do this. So I've just been juggling acting and casting. But I probably took off casting probably around, I guess Mama Bear was formed around 2016, I think, on the set of Driver's Ed that we did together.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Since I was kind of base camp PA, extras casting, crafty, production manager.
Yeah, I
remember
remember
everything, right?
That was a crazy set.
It was crazy, and I'm still working with those people. Barbara, the director, her and we've been working on several big sets now, and I'm her go-to for casting for some future projects coming, and I just love it. We just had this budding friendship, and several people from that set. So I've graduated now, 2 agents later, and I love my new agent. Not that I didn't like my previous agents, it's a better fit.
Fair enough.
Better fit. And she really enjoys that I do casting as well. So I'm still waiting for God to either define one or the other, but right now I feel given permission to pursue both. So I go through seasons of what I'm doing, depending on what's happening.
So you're juggling both right now. So how hard and how stressful is that?
It's uncharted territory, like we are in right now. Well, I like being a casting director and being an actor, because as an actor, I'm doing self-tapes as well. So when I'm watching self-tapes, it's interesting because I know I go through those same motions and I understand technical difficulty. Or if it's bad, I can say, you have no excuse. There's no reason that you did not follow the instructions. I know, or I'll see what people, this is a negative, and I don't want to be negative. I like Erica Arvold said she's allergic to negativity, and I'm going to adopt that. So props to her. But when people talk a really big talk, and I'm like, okay, they must be pretty good. And then they submit a self-tape, and I'm like, really? That's all you got? Okay. But it's funny because I feel like I'm cheating in my acting, because I'm getting to see the back end of things. So I'm getting to do the acting thing. But during quarantine, I have signed up for a couple of classes and gotten myself, I'm not going to say over my head yet, but I was working on a project starting the end of January, and it wrapped March 19th. Right as quarantine started.
Wow.
So and that was the first film that I would not only cast about 100, 110, 107 background, but I also cast 13 day players and supporting roles. So that casting happened before the background casting happened. So I was like super involved with casting. I could not wear my acting hat. And I told my agent, I'm like, I'm casting. I have to be on set. I have to be signing in background. I have to be working with contracts. I'm having to do a lot of things, and I'm learning. This was the biggest learning set I've ever had. And I got to rub elbows with an LA casting director who I could now text her and call her and go, hey, how you doing? So that's fun. So I feel torn because they kept saying, well, if there's a role for you, let us know. We know you're an actor. And I feel like that's cheating. I'm like, I don't want to get a role just because I'm your casting director. You know?
Right.
So it is a challenge. And so I feel like I've been in quarantine since the end of January. And then when a quarantine started, I just thought, nothing's different for me. I'm still doing this. But I'm now actually able to really get back into acting and the craft. And so I'm signed up for 2 classes that are one's 6 weeks, one's 8 weeks. And then I did a one-time class Thursday. So this week I had a class Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all 3 involving scripts. And I've been sitting in, listening into some of the Atlanta casting directors and their Q&A sessions. And I'm comparing notes with how they run things and how I run things. And I'm like, oh, cool. We're on the same page. Yeah. So it's really exciting. And I've been able to share what I've learned as a casting director to other actor friends, because like when do you really get to see the back end of things?
Yeah.
As an actor? So there's little nuggets that I want to share, and right now I have the time to share it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of, I've learned it too, since we started Right Time Productions in 2017. We've been kind of like, oh, well, this is what we have to do all this now. Wait a minute. And the fact it's just really me, Roger, and then we have another guy, Jared, who is on our team as well. And it's just the 3 of us. And now we have to do casting. We have to do directing. We have to do the editing. We have to do the lighting.
I can help you with the casting.
We're actually filming a web series right now.
Well, we always need extras.
Always need extras.
I'm really trying to. I don't like casting extras. Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. I don't like casting extras when it's an unpaid gig. It's hard. It's very hard. But I get it. I get sometimes now if the whole thing is unpaid, that's different. But if you have this paid for production and then you're like, but we want extras and you can't pay them. I'm like, extras are people too. They make or break your film. So if you can't pay for extras, maybe you don't need it. Once or twice is fine. And I've actually put in a black mark on myself a couple of years ago, because I really, really fought for pay for extras in Augusta, because it's kind of a bad analogy, but there were productions that would come to the area that I felt took advantage of the fact that people didn't know that normally in the grand scheme of things you get paid. And it's like, you want to be in a movie? We'll get you in a movie. Come on, just be in a movie. Just show up and be here a couple of hours. And they'll dangle this carrot of being in a movie.
Yeah.
And that's misleading but then you have the Atlanta market and the bigger markets this is a job. Like you actually
get paid.
There's not a lot of skill required, but there is a discipline required. There's a stamina level for somebody to be able to show up early, stay for 14 or 16 hours, be trapped in a little bitty room with cheese puffs and peanut butter crackers, and then be on go, I mean, it takes a level of stamina for that and time commitment, and when you get free extras, you risk the fact they could just go, dude, I don't want to do this. This is dumb. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So I've fought for payment of extras in every film I try to get involved with now. My first question, I don't even ask them, what are you paying me? I say, are you paying your extras? How much?
Yeah.
Are you going to feed them?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's been the hardest part is, whenever people do cast for things, because I've done a lot of stuff that's non-paid, and then I've done some stuff that is paid, and it's just different. I mean, when you do a job that's unpaid, it's one of those where people do it for the experience. Yes. It's the only reason they do it, for the experience, or they do it because they enjoy it, like a hobby. But if you are trying
I mean,
to
like,
do
I would do it for you. I would do it for you because I know
Aw.
you and I love you. And I mean, I did unpaid extra work on Tulsa,
Mhm.
filmed in Augusta, and I think it's faith-based. Yes, it's faith-based. It's actually part of International Christian Film Festival.
Ooh.
Scott, I forgot the name of, I forgot his name. Anyway, Jordan Blair Brown did casting for extras.
Mhm.
And I auditioned for a speaking role, didn't book it. Several of us in Augusta auditioned for speaking roles. We didn't book it, but then they wanted extras. And I helped spread the word. Like, it is unpaid, but I really believe in this project. And so I
Mhm.
do have exceptions to the rule. If I believe in the project or I know the people that are doing it, they're good people.
Yeah.
Come on, help them out. Because you never know
Yeah.
when you're going to need their help one day.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is, what I love about doing, especially not necessarily unpaid, but doing background work is you meet all these interesting people. They're all so different. And you never know who you're going to run into, and you never know what they can do for you and what you can do for them. It's
Yeah.
just,
Right.
to me, that's the big thrill of the whole entertainment industry for me is you never know what anybody's doing. There's this one lady I met one time. We were on the set of, it was filmed in Noon, and it was some Victoria Justice movie. I think she was the
Oh,
star.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it was called Summer Night, I think is what it was called. But anyway, we were on the set of that, and so these people I was meeting, they were all dressed in. It was supposed to be like some type of club scene. So it was all these people dressed in, some of them were wearing all black, and some of them were wearing cowboy boots, and just all these different people. But then you add them all on Facebook, and they're all so different.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's like, wait, you don't dress like that all the time? Wait, what?
Well,
Bubble,
Yeah.
I just did my friend Cam Logan, he's a local filmmaker and writer, but he works a full-time job, so he does it on the weekend. So we did an 80s thing a couple of years ago. It's called Bryn Gets a Job. And I helped do some casting for that. It was all unpaid. We just volunteered our time. And it was a short film, and it's on YouTube, it's on his channel. It's a
I remember that one.
really cute, family-friendly 80s vibe. Cam loves his 80s and loves his Breakfast Club and all of those 80s things,
Mhm.
and I think he's maybe 30, 32, 30, I don't know. He's young.
Yeah.
You're all younger than me. So then we did a follow-up. He did an audience thing of like, who's your favorite character? Well, there's another character in it named Teddy, who we just love. And the guy that plays Teddy, Brandon Fields, that's just him all the time. He's just adorable. Just want to just adopt him. He could be my son. He's just lovable. So Cam made a spinoff called Teddy's Party. And that's another good family friendly, amazing fun film. And then he did a little Halloween special just for fun. It was part of a challenge for Halloween. And so I played the mom of the lead character. So I played Ellie Mae, who is Bryn's mom. All of us were unpaid. We're just doing this because we have fun, but it's filmed really, really well. And we have really good demo reel footage. And I love that it was a good trade-off, for our time and our talent. We get good demo reel footage. And now Cam just wrote, and we just wrapped, before COVID, about January, a feature film based off of all of these characters.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's
and he was able to do some fundraising, and he paid us this time. Not a lot, but we all got paid. We all had a great time. We upped the stakes. He's going to be looking for distribution. He's in editing phase right now. He did more backstory, and I'm like donning this wig, and I mean, I look like my mom in the 80s. So, it was Bryn Gets a Job, then Teddy's Party, then Smoke Shop's Halloween was the Smoke Shop as a character for the Halloween version. It's like 8 minutes, or 5 minutes, I don't know. And then now we have Bryn Gets a Life. So the lead character's name is Bryn, and so now it's her getting a life. And it's just, I'm friends with the girl that plays my daughter, and it's mostly local cast. There's a couple people from Atlanta. It's just a fun little and everybody, because it's family friendly and everybody wants to be a part of this Bryniverse,
Right. That's really fascinating. That's actually kind of what we're trying to do with our with Right Time is we've done 3 short films, and we have our web series that we're trying to start filming as soon as Corona ends, I guess. We'll have to. That's why it's been pushed off. But we're trying to build this community of people where we can, have these people that will come and be a part of our sets and not only learn from us, but we can learn from them as well. And it just kind of grows as like a family, for the lack of a better term. So,
Well,
and that's our goal for it.
Yeah.
It blows me away how people are essentially not allowing COVID to stop them. You know, they're taking advantage of the technology that we have now with Zoom. And
speaking of streams, so before all this started, we have our pastor's wife. We've got a new pastor. We've had him involved in our church for years, but he's now our senior pastor, and his wife started doing Facebook Live for our church services because he was an evangelist for 15 years. So he was on the road for 15 years. So he has a huge following worldwide. And so our pastor's wife started Facebook Living the services and building audiences. We've had people that live overseas and they're watching the service. Well, they decided we need to take this up a notch, because you have to be her friend on Facebook to watch Facebook Live. Yeah. It's not streamed anywhere else. So my husband, in Trinity, you've met Brian, he ended up being the one spearheading, researching cameras, because Brian is now he does my auditions. He loves editing. I've done a couple short films myself, and he has been part of, he's enjoying editing. And I think that's kind of one of those, you admit that you enjoy editing. Oh, I don't know.
I do.
But he does enjoy editing. So he's getting the creative side. So he stepped up, and he's a techie guy anyway. And he started researching cameras and stuff. So they decided they wanted to do 3 cameras in the sanctuary, a center, a right, and a left, and maybe go with different angles and have somebody, we're going to do it right. Go from Facebook Live, not just let's video it or whatever. So anyway, he started doing all the research, troubleshooting. Our cameras were delivered the week quarantine started.
Whoa. And
we had our last church service in person we wrapped our movie on the 19th. So March the 15th was our last live church service. March 22nd, sorry. Anyway, the last week of March, my husband and a team they used Wirecast, and they installed the cameras. They didn't mount them, but they installed the cameras, got them, like stacked a bunch of tables and to kind of sort of get them where they thought they wanted, troubleshot it, and we were live streaming in 4 days.
Wow.
That Sunday.
Wow.
Live streaming to YouTube and to Facebook. It wasn't the prettiest, but it worked. And so our worship team was just our instead of full choir, just our choir director, a soloist, a guitar, and social distance. Then our pastor would get up and preach, and there was just a very small few staff members in the sanctuary. Yeah. And since then, they've been having to tweak it, and we even brought in a gaffer, our friend Denton, to help, because it's not the cameras, it's the lighting. They weren't all the same, and it was driving people crazy. But I'm able to now get my mom in Texas to watch our services. We're reaching more people now.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's not perfect yet, but this next Sunday, tomorrow, it should be amazing, because this last week is when we got an actual gaffer to come in and work on the cameras. And
so are you still, there's no casting going on at all right now, right?
Right when the movie wrapped, I actually was casting for a proof of concept, and that was out on Breakdown Services. And we pretty much cast it, but obviously we can't film it right now. We were supposed to film 14th and 15th, and we almost were going to be able to film. It's a 2-day proof of concept that's going to be a pitch for a pilot. So I'm really excited about that, but it's all on hold. So I haven't had any more casting. There's been a local company contact me for to do a pitch for a client for a commercial that I could be casting, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's fascinating. So how do you go and decide who to cast for which role and what not? Like, what are the things that you look for when you're casting?
Well, I really have to have a good one-on-one or heart-to-heart with production, especially the director. I need to have the script. I need to read the script. I need to be able to digest the script and get a good character breakdown and figure out what they're looking for. Everything. I mean, height, big, little, black, white,
Yeah.
green, purple, long or short, what type. So and then I have to get my character breakdown written up and start picking, and go, you might be ideal, but so might you, and so might you, But if they say definitely don't get anybody that has a baby face, then
Right.
I have to, or don't get anybody that is red hair, or don't have any gray haired people, or only gray haired people, It just varies. It really varies. And what I hate is when I'll put a casting call out, if I say, this is what I'm looking for, and then someone will submit that doesn't match that. I'm like, why did you submit? You're wasting my time. Or if I say it must be a local hire to Augusta, literally that last film, I had over 9,000 submissions.
Wow.
Nationwide, from the West Coast, from Canada, from Northeast. I'm like, this is a modified local budget movie. I can't even entertain looking at you. I know if I look at you, then you're going to try to talk us into paying you more. I have to fit within a budget. I've been told I have to find people who can work local hire to Augusta that can foot their own lodging. That's what I have to, so I don't even have time to entertain you, and that, to me, that wastes my time. It frustrates me. It's like, I know what I need, and I know where I have a little bit of wiggle room, and I allow for that. But when you're like completely way off, I mean, I've had females submit for male roles. And I hope that was an accident. You accidentally submitted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's insane. I know, because when we were casting for Young Life, we were just sitting there like we had
people applying from other countries, and
we had people applying from like Germany, and I'm like, where are you? How did you hear about us? Like, this is an unpaid project. How did you hear about us?
I get hit up all the time. People find me on IMDb and they just email me and go, hey, I see that you're casting something. I want to put my name in the hat. And I just want to say, well, then do it the right way.
Exactly.
I have instructions out there. If you saw it, if you're on Actors Act, I don't like being hit up outside, because what's out on IMDb is my personal email, and I don't work casting out of my personal email. That's my actor side and my family side,
Right.
But Mama Bear Casting, that's my casting side, But I also don't like it when an agent will go, please look at my talent. Let me send you a package. I'm like, I don't want to. It's on IMDb.
Submit within the filters. Is that the right? That's not the right word.
And I also
boundaries.
have companies that want to revamp my website, and I get a lot of solicitation. Or, hey, we see that you have a casting call posted here. How about we also break backstage? They'll hijack my casting call, and they'll post it a week later.
Yeah.
They've done that before.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, this has been really fun, but unfortunately, we are running out of time.
Yeah.
So really, hopefully, maybe we can get you back for a part 2. That'd be awesome, because you just have so much to offer and so many interesting stories and thoughts. But really quickly, I just wanted to ask you one final question. If you could give a quick answer, really quick. Do you, for people who are interested in acting, or who they're from a casting perspective, a little bit on the long lines of the same. Trinity's last question, say there's people out there, they're submitting for things the right way, and they're just getting kind of turned down, they're just not getting booked for anything. What advice would you have to give them?
First of all, don't take it personally. That's the biggest rule. It's probably not you. It's just the role. You're just not a right fit. And I was just talking to somebody today. If you're in a relationship, then you are the right fit, right? That person had to go through how many people to get to the right fit. So don't take it personally. If you run into a running cycle of constantly getting rejected, maybe it's just time to go back and double check your resume, brush up on your training, and maybe try a new approach. And if you have an agent, ask your agent, what can I do to change something? Obviously I'm not booking, because you may not be doing anything wrong. Maybe you're submitting for the wrong type of thing. Maybe you're not submitting for something that's your type, we all have a type, and maybe I'm submitting for something that I don't fit in that mold. I think I do, but I don't. And you could talk to an agent about that, or talk to a trusted friend, or talk, in the Augusta area, I'm always opening myself up and saying, hey, do you want some feedback on your demo reel? You want feedback on an audition? Send it to me. I'll be happy to give you feedback. I got nothing but time. you know, and that's still open if somebody wanted feedback.
So where can everybody find you at?
Well, I have my Facebook page, which is Mama Bear Casting. Most of my background work is there, but I'm starting to post more speaking role stuff. And then I'm also on Facebook as Susan Willis, or IMDb Susan Willis 4. Roman number 4.
Well, Susan, thank you so much for coming on Chase the Unknown today. I'm sure our viewers had a great time listening to your experience a little bit with both the casting and acting side. Guys, thank you so much again for listening this week. We'll have a brand new episode of Chase the Unknown coming at you next Wednesday. Also, quickly on a side note, we should be able to give you some information in terms of getting production going again here in the next few months. Stay tuned on our social media at Right Time Productions on Facebook and Instagram. And hopefully we'll be able to get some information out to you here in the next few weeks. And until then, don't forget to chase your unknown.